The further education sector is designed in such a way that each college is different, and because of that the demographic of each college is different. Here at Nuneaton our demographic is largely made up of 16 to 19 learners who are on full-time courses, taking part in vocational courses. But we also have our school section, and these are 14 to 16 learners where mainstream school hasn't quite worked out for them, and they're invited to be a part of a group here where they can continue with their core subjects, so their English, their maths, but also be able to take part in vocational education at the same time. And so it offers a continuation of their learning story as opposed to there being an abrupt end. And so there is an opportunity, I believe, for healing and restoration for some of those young people, as well as being a springboard for further development for them. We also have a higher education area. And so we have people who want to come and start their university degree courses with us. And alongside that we also have adult learners who continue their vocational learning, and that can take place not just in the day but also in the evenings as well. The role of a chaplain is different across the board in further education, and it will be different according to which institution you go to. Because the models are different. Some are volunteers, some are paid either by outside agencies or directly by the college, and because of that you'll find that a lot of chaplaincies differ from college to college. At this college we have a full-time chaplain, and my role is to support staff and students of all faiths and none, offering an unconditional listening ear and support and care across the whole of our college community. So it's not just focused on the student cohort, but very much also for the staff as well, and that is for the principal as much as it is for any member of staff that I would work alongside. On a day-to-day basis, the chaplain, I will be working alongside many students offering enrichment activities, so that will be based on various festivals throughout the year. And they are informal activities designed to open up conversation and remove barriers where there might be, how should we put this, stereotypes, prejudices. But they're not just for that purpose, they're also there for development and to offer opportunities for informal learning. That's very important to us. And then alongside that is the pastoral role. I'm here to talk and listen, offering an empathetic ear, a non-judgmental care to anybody who wants it. And we are here for anyone at any time. We are a multi-faith chaplaincy, and we pride ourselves on that to a certain extent, if that's the right word. And we care very deeply about ensuring that people of all faiths have access to the chaplaincy service. Traditionally, we have made sure that that has been done through representative chaplains. So we will have a Muslim representative, we will have a Baha'i representative, we'll have a Christian representative, we'll have a representative from Hindu tradition. But that doesn't necessarily translate itself as being paid members of staff or indeed having a set of consistent representatives. It's far more born through relationships, and because of that it wavers from year to year. I think the way that we would describe the team is multi-faith in the sense that all the chaplains seek to serve anybody as opposed to having a representative model. So as a Christian chaplain I don't just serve Christians. A Hindu person wouldn't just serve Hindus. We're here to work alongside everybody. At the moment it is just myself, alongside a Baha'i representative and another Christian volunteer. We're hoping to increase that soon, but like I said, because of the role of education, the nature of the beast is such that every academic year it changes. And I guess there is a sense in which we are reinventing the wheel each year, but I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. There are occasions when there are tensions that crop in our teams. It has been known that there have been minor disagreements and things, and when those do crop up, firstly we create an environment where that's okay. We recognise where there are differences and it's okay to disagree with each other. That's a good aspect of a working chaplaincy team. The key is that when those incidences do happen, that they're not treated like a problem, but more like an opportunity. And we're not there to seek an agreement, but more to seek understanding from each other, because that's what we would want to do outside of our team. And if we model it within the team, then we can echo it outside the team. Across our 4 campuses we have 3 prayer rooms, and each prayer room is equipped with religious artefacts and resources that we hope the major world religions will find useful. We work alongside members of our community from differing faiths to ensure that they are updated appropriately and relevantly. So there are holy books kept in appropriate ways, there are prayer mats available, and there are different texts and various liturgies that are available as people need it. The prayer rooms are multi-faith in nature, so they can be changed according to the need of the room. So for example, our Nuneaton campus is split into 2, and it is divided by some curtains. One half of the room has a foot washing sink, the resources are kept in cupboards, and there are some chairs and an altar ready for services in Christian traditions. On the other side of the curtains, which can be pulled, it's a blank space with just a sink there, that's it. There's nothing on the walls, and that space can be used by anybody for any means at all. So for example, if for Friday prayers a Muslim group wanted to use the room, they could draw the curtains, and there's a sense of privacy there, but also there is space for them to be able to do what they feel they need to do. But the prayer room can also be enlarged because of that. So if we do have services where there needs to be, for example, an act of remembrance or a larger sacrament that's taking place, then we can use the room for that as well. All the prayer rooms are echoed in that way. So the hope is that all the rooms can be morphed into their needs as needed. There's been a 30-year history of chaplaincy here at North Warwickshire in Hinckley College, and the way the chaplaincy has looked over that time has changed and morphed, and that's been because of resources, it's because of the changing needs of the culture at the college, and indeed nationally the changing nature of further education as a sector. We feel very much welcomed by our college, mainly because we feel that we are a part of the college. I'm a member of staff here, I am paid directly by the college, and it's the college that take the role of the chaplain seriously, and they see the function and the unique aspect that chaplaincy can play, not just in the role of the staff, but also in the role of the young people who we seek to serve as well. In further education, and indeed in wider education, there is a legal requirement that we seek to spiritually, morally, socially and culturally educate and offer an environment where development in those areas can take place. And that is embedded in the Education Act. The college here takes that seriously, and one of the main ways they do that is by offering a chaplaincy service. We are serious about the spiritual lives of our young people, and of course the moral, social and cultural aspects are intertwined in that, but we seek to serve the spiritual development of the young people we come into contact with. We do that in many different ways, not least for our enrichment activities where we talk about different festivals. We offer points of reflection where people are able to consider and reflect on their own narratives, their own stories, and how that interplays in the rest of their lives. But serving the spiritual need of our young people is important to this college, and that is a function that the chaplaincy rather uniquely can play, and that's essential to the life of this college. We have been described in the past as being at the heart of the college, and I don't take that as a title or anything like that. I don't think that the college would fall to pieces if we weren't here. That's of course not true. What I hope it is a reflection of is that we take seriously the lives of the people that are within this institution, as well as the education that takes place. And I hope that that is echoed, therefore, in the education that our young people receive. We are interested in the goodness that is around us, not just in the qualifications. And we're not here to help give people jobs, as important as that is. We are foremostly here to help creating an environment where human beings can flourish, where they can be the best versions of themselves. And for us, that is why we exist. That's why we're at the college. I find a mix of reactions. Some are wary of what I do, others are intrigued. I know people in my own tradition who foster an active suspicion of multi-faith work, and so I recognise that to them I might perhaps be the embodiment of their suspicion. However, for others there is an openness and a grace expressed through what they say, and because of that I find these mix of reactions and expressions from people. I find I'm both challenged and affirmed, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad place to find myself. I think for me, I believe that God is found in the unknown as well as in the known. And crucially, as a Christian and as a minister, I don't believe I have a monopoly on God and how he works. I'm inspired by the history of chaplaincy and the story of St. Martin and how he tore his cloak in half. And he treated a beggar as an equal, not as somebody who would lord it above them, nor was he beneath them, but he was with them. And as he served that beggar as an equal, so he also served God. And in that sense, I believe that God is for everybody, not against anyone. And as I look at the life of Jesus, I see someone who broke down barriers to God, be it social or political, theological or moral. He was always against brokenness and division. And I believe that he was for all people. The mission of God, the Missio Dei, is one of relationship and presence. And we don't get to pick and choose who to love. We're called to love everyone. God is already up to something, and it's our job to figure out what that is and join in with him. So when I meet fellow Christians and I talk about multi-faith chaplaincy, I often find that I'm affirming what I call a divine inclusivism, which for some Christians is uncomfortable. I find for some the idea of working alongside other faiths is contrary to their understanding of the gospel message. And as such, I suppose, I can be seen as lacking integrity to some, or even compromising my faith. But for me to suggest that there is a choice between being faithful to God or working with other faiths is, I think, at best inaccurate, and at worst it paints a rather desperate picture of a loving God. It's a false dichotomy. The two can coexist. It doesn't mean there aren't tensions, but I think that if we're secure in our faith, then there can be room for that. And indeed, there is such a thing as holy disagreement. I can theologically disagree with someone else and still work alongside them. We can still share common purpose to love and serve other people, even if the trajectory of our reason is slightly different. I think for chaplaincy the word story is very important. I like to use the word narrative because it offers an opportunity for people to reflect on their lives, other people's lives, and the way we deal with it. From a meta-narrative point of view, I think it's God's story that interacts with our story, and it's our story that interacts with other people's story. So we take stories very seriously. And actually one of the ways that we evaluate our work is by using case studies. And we try to ensure that we have a record of some of the stories that we come into contact with, things that you can't necessarily put words to, or indeed numbers. Well, there are two stories that come to my mind that I think offer a really good idea of how chaplaincy can work practically. The first one is every year we offer an opportunity for everybody in our college to give some food, and we put out these giant wooden sledges in the reception areas of our campuses, and staff and students can donate all sorts of food. And when they do that, we package these foods into lovely Christmas hampers. They're beautiful things. And we offer these hampers to some of our more vulnerable students, those who very practically will be wondering about how they're going to get some food over the Christmas period. And I remember as we had the real pleasure of delivering some of these hampers, I remember one person in particular saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You don't know what this means." And actually he's right, I didn't know what it meant. But what I did know is it wasn't just a token gesture because we felt nice and it was Christmas. Actually what it was the expression of grace through an institution that wants to care for those it seeks to serve. And the chaplaincy can be the practical arm of that grace. And I think that's a very unique feature of the chaplaincy. The second story is I feel that we as chaplains are chaplain to the whole institution. And every so often we're inspected by outside agencies. On this one occasion we were inspected by Ofsted, which for some people can be a very scary experience. And there was a sense of nervousness in the air. You could feel it. It was tangible. And so what we did is we put together these little gift bags for each department, for the staff in particular. And inside were silly little gifts, really, some tea, some biscuits, little things that we hope would offer a laugh, maybe some relaxation, but also a little leaflet. And the leaflet said, "You are amazing no matter what you do. Don't forget that you are already amazing." And the reason we wanted to say that is because sometimes we can listen to the narrative that says that we're only as good as the grade that we get. We might be unsatisfactory or require improvement, or maybe we're outstanding. Actually, in God's eyes, we're already outstanding. We are already outstanding. And that is a message that I think the chaplaincy needs to be continually bringing to the people that are around.